Hey guys, Sam Ince from the Beta Network here, and have you had enough of the plethora of 150-hour RPGs that are out on the market? Maybe you're looking for something a little smaller and much more chilled out. Well, Foretales is a fairly simple deck building experience. And no, I'm not talking about that kind of deck. But is it worth picking up? In this video, I will help you answer the question, should you play Foretales? Centered around Volpan, a bird-like creature with the ability to see prophecies, Foretales tells the story of impending doom. Through the aforementioned ability, Volpan can see into the future, which helps him to prevent these devastating events from occurring. However, this may not be as simple as it first seems. The narrative in Foretales is fantastic. Each scenario sees Volpan and his party encounter some fascinating new creatures and challenges that they must overcome, and it is told quite cleverly. The most intriguing part about the narrative is that each decision you make has an impact on how it turns out. Decide to kill too many creatures? You may be penalised, or something interesting may occur in the story. Choose to not resolve a devastating event? That's okay, but you may not like the end result. This was an awesome way to tell the story, and is what enticed me to get really invested into Foretales. Foretales' minimalist gameplay style is exclusively focused around playing cards to advance the story, as well as for resolving combat encounters and general exploration. However, this Dexploration game is not necessarily just about building the best arsenal for combat. Instead, there is a bigger emphasis on problem solving, even when encountering various enemies. As long as you have taken the time to prepare yourself, you will be able to find ways to diffuse any situation, rather than just charging in head first. This adds an extra layer of depth to the gameplay, and makes you think about what cards to use and when. Honestly, the gameplay is great fun. Even though it is fairly simplistic, it really drew me in. I had to take extra time to consider my options quite frequently. This is especially because the cards you use for both exploration and combat come from the same deck. Some are better for certain situations than others, but any card can be used anywhere. So be careful what you choose. You don't want to run out of a specific card that you may need later. This does bring me to one big issue that I had with Foretales. Whilst exploring, you must use your cards to progress through various locations. Whilst this in itself is not a negative, it does lead to some rather tedious moments. It is so easy to get lost and be unsure of how to proceed. Because these areas are dealt from a deck as well, in some points of the story, it can be really confusing to find your way forward. Sometimes the objective card may just be dealt out randomly as you travel around, whereas other objectives may require you to complete different tasks first. This became much more apparent in later quests and was a little annoying. But having said that, there is a hints section if you find yourself getting really stuck. But who wants to use hints? A quick word about the sponsors of today's video.
No! No! No!
If you're anything like me, you can't see in the dark, and honestly, it is much too hard to try and hold my lightsaber whilst I'm trying to work. Enter the BenQ ScreenBar Halo. Not only is the ScreenBar Halo an excellent choice for lighting up your workspace, but also has a ton, and that is an imperial ton, of features that are all available straight out of the box. This includes a backlight, which means your whole space is illuminated, not just directly in front of the monitor, a wireless controller to ensure that you can adjust your light wherever is most convenient for you, as well as a specialized clip, which has made the ScreenBar Halo the most compatible with any monitor. The creators at BenQ also know that many of us like to broadcast our faces to the world through a webcam, so they came up with a sleek design that allows you to place your cam on top of the light so you can still accomplish those much loved streaming sessions without having to adjust your setup at all. So if you like all these features, click the link in the description to get your BenQ ScreenBar Halo now. You won't regret it. I have to compliment the developers on the visual style of Foretales. It is absolutely gorgeous. The game's backdrop and card design look stunning. Also, the added animations that occur on the table and whilst the card is played or dealt are fantastic. I really appreciated how they differed on the table when travelling through various places. Inside a prison, the lighting and shadows displayed a reflection of that location. There were also occasional water drops that would fall onto the table, which would further help give the feeling of being in a dungeon. Whilst out in the forest, the lighting became a more yellow-green tone with shadows cast from trees. The fantastic sound design also really assisted in setting these scenes. The music also plays a vital role in Foretales. This is particularly noticeable because of the lack of voice acting, aside from the narrator occasionally speaking a few words about the current scenario.
Well, how very altruistic. Something tells me these chaps aren't here to discuss pickpocketing techniques.
As a result, there is so much space to fill, and the music and sound design together do so brilliantly. So, should you play Foretales? That would be a resounding yes. Foretales may look really simple at first, and its minimalist gameplay style may not initially seem to be that exciting. But honestly, once you get going, the game's charm, its excellent visual design, and the fascinating story will get you hooked. Foretales is definitely worth checking out, even if you have never played a deck builder before.